Hey guys, here's a quick question I got for you today. Do you often struggle with creating a lasting change in your life or transformation? For example, do you want to quit smoking cigarettes, or maybe you want to quit smoking pot, or you want to quit drinking any alcohol, or maybe improve your diet, or train, exercise every day, build up good habits, and so on? Well, I think a lot of us struggle with building new healthy habits and replacing all bad habits, right? So today I wanted to give you one of the most powerful tools that each one of us has when it comes down to building new habits and removing old ones and old patterns of behaviors that are not serving us anymore. So, what is that tool? Let's think about it. What is one way that you can go about overcoming the limiting patterns and bad habits you currently have and adopting a new healthy habit or a better way of being? Well, will would be one way. Motivation and desire, right? You have the desire, you have the motivation, and so on. So you start, initially you have all the motivation, you have all the desire, you have all the will in the world, and everything seems wonderful, and so on. You go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, whatever, all of a sudden your motivation runs out, your will runs out, your desire and drive runs out, they just dry out, and you left to where you were. So you go back to your own behavior and habits because it's easier to go back to what's familiar than what it is new and continue on with it, because living the old and moving into the new makes us uncomfortable. However, what about if you make that new change, the new habit, the new behavior part of who you are, an undividable part of who you are? Would that be powerful? Well, here is the little trick. That is the most powerful thing that one can do. The most powerful level of change one can create. And this is your identity. For example, why do you think people that go to rehab for drugs, alcohol addiction, smoking, and whatever their addiction is, always, as soon as they come out of the rehab, go back to their old habits? Because they haven't changed their identity. For example, I am a recovering alcoholic. Well, it's in the name. I am an alcoholic. What is an alcoholic recovering from? Lack of alcohol? Maybe, right? But if you said, I am someone who's extremely healthy and doesn't touch alcohol, then now your relationship and the way your mind works and thinks about and creates constructs that keep you on track of changing and adapting the new behavior will be a lot more consistent and powerful than if you were to say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Or, for example, I will quit smoking, right? I'm a smoker, but I quit smoking. No. If you do this, as soon as the next new nervous moment or discomfort comes in your life, or something happens in your life, the first thing you would be doing is to light up a cigarette. However, if you were to adopt the mentality and mindset and create this new identity for yourself again, I'm an extremely healthy person. I do not touch cigarettes. I hate cigarettes, and cigarettes are the worst thing for my health. Now, what would be your relation and how your mind would approach that? Well, there will be a very different relationship, and the thoughts that your mind will come up and the solutions it will provide, or the options whenever you feel that urge to light up a cigarette, or again in the case of being an alcoholic, the desire to have a drink, and so on will be very different. So I encourage you to experiment with this and challenge yourself to create intentionally a new powerful identity for yourself that relates to that new habit, way of being, of thinking, and so on that you want to be, that you've been struggling with, whatever that is. If there is a habit that you struggle with that you know is better for you, and there is another one that you know it's bad for you, that you want to replace that bad habit with this good one, then make that new habit part of your identity. And you don't have to have one identity. I'll offer you this mental model of the world that goes even further than that. I want you to start seeing and thinking about yourself as an actor playing in the movie of your life. And this actor that you are can play many different roles of characters throughout your life. And they are like different vehicles for different reasons, right? You can have an identity or a role you play at your job. You can have a different role and identity used at your romantic life. You can have another one that you use for your social life with your friends. And then you can have another identity or role you play with your family, your mom and dad, and so on. You can have another one that you play when you're out in your business, and so on and so on and so on. So you can have multiple identities for different reasons. They're like different vehicles. For example, your car you use to drive from a place to place or to get to places, right? An airplane you use to fly to places. The train would take you places, or a ferry or a boat will take you to other places, and so on. Or maybe if you want to go for a bike ride, you use a bicycle, because obviously you cannot go for a bike ride with your car, right? So think of these identities as different vehicles for different purposes. So again, I encourage you, and let's create this challenge. I want you to sit down and intentionally create a new identity for yourself that aligns with that new amazing habit you know that you want to have and implement into your life. A new habit that I recently did and implemented into my life that's always been a struggle. I've been kind of like being good and not good and kind of all in between, is waking up early. However, in the last 2 weeks, I've started to implement and install again into myself the healthy, amazingly productive habit of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning while it's still dark and you have the whole day in front of you to do things. Yes, it's not easy, but if you make it a part of your identity, it's much easier to implement and install this habit into your life. Because, for example, in my personal life, waking up early before was, sometimes I'll wake up early. Sometimes I won't even go to sleep to wake up early. Sometimes I go to sleep very late and I wake up in the middle of the day, which would make my week very sporadic and all over the place. There was no consistent pattern that I can use around my schedule and the way I do things. So I decided that the one thing I'm gonna do, not only challenge myself but install, is the habit of waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm even now at this point, I'm so good at it that I'm considering to even move it a half hour earlier to make it 4:30, because I actually love waking up early in the morning. I used to, but it was really hard to keep that momentum or to have this consistency. So again, if you create this identity intentionally for yourself, for the habit you want to create, or the behavior you want to have in your life, in whatever that area might be. You might want to excel at work. You might want to be an amazing lover. You might want to be very social when you go out to events, or you just want to be a very calm and relaxed person throughout your day, right? For example, I'll give you an example of one of my identities, which I use in my romantic life. I am. This first, let me clear this out so we can create the mechanics around it, right? I am. This is how it starts. You want to memorize and come out and verbalize your identity. First you write it down, but then you memorize it, and then you start verbalizing it without even thinking about it, feeling it, right? I am data, 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 whatever it is that you are. For example, here is my romantic identity. I am an irresistibly mysterious, seductive, romantic adventurer who's desired by all exceptional women. So this is my romantic identity. But this is just one vehicle I use throughout my life. It's just one role I play as the main actor in the movie of my life. So I have another identity for my personal life. I have another identity for my professional pursuits, spiritual pursuits, health pursuits, and so on. So I encourage you and challenge you again to create a new identity for yourself. Take it to heart and start repeating it to yourself every single day. When it becomes a second, it's not a question anymore. It's part of who you are. If you want to quit smoking, if you want to quit drinking, if you want to quit wasting your time around and procrastinating, adopt a new identity. Intentionally design an identity that's going to empower you to go far in life. I hope this was a very valuable and helpful video, you guys. I look forward to actually seeing your identities that you guys hopefully would take me up on my challenge and create. So please feel free to comment down below and insert your new identity, or the identity that's gonna be the vehicle for the change you want to create in your life. Trust me on this one. This is the most powerful tool that we all have when it comes down to creating change and transformation in our life. So please, don't waste any more time. Find a moment today, tomorrow, or very soon. Sit down and intentionally design an identity that's gonna empower you to install into your daily life an amazing new habit and replace a bad habit that you hate and you've been struggling to remove out of your life. Again, I hope this was an amazingly helpful video. Please feel free to leave me comments below, hit like, share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thrive and strive, my friends!